Okay guys, this is part 3 to the rocket launcher tutorial, and this is going to be showing you a quick example of the steps that I take when I set up a new wheel or a new system in Rocket Launcher. All right guys, are you up for it? This is number 3 here. So you guys have just seen all the global settings, and when you go to Hyper HQ and you've added a new system, you're going to see it populate off to the left here. So if you were to set up, let's say, AAE, you select that there, and then you see all of these tabs here. You're going to do nothing in the rocket launcher, the control, or third-party tab, because general settings are set up. And what you're going to do is just go to the settings tab. I'm going to select main settings here. And the only thing that you're really going to care about on virtually every one of these wheels is this first tab here. You're going to want to make sure, am I going to use the global settings that you just set up, or are you going to change your mind and select true or false on any one of these? I will say a good rule of thumb is you might focus on the desktop up here, but generally speaking, you're going to leave all those as global, use global. The other things that I might change is 7Z. I might set that to true if I've got larger game files. And then at the very bottom here, we've got settings. You might change skip checks. So this is particularly interesting for PC games, but there's other systems that would require you to make that change, that false skip checks to true. Also virtual drive. If you've got ISO files, you'll want to change that, possibly if things aren't working. But outside of that, if you don't want fades to be turned on, or if it's causing your emulator to act funny, you're also going to go to settings, fade general, and you're going to just change this fade in to false or fade out to false. In terms of everything else, there's nothing else that I change in the settings folder. It's just main settings and fade general. Under the emulators tab, you're going to select the game path by pushing the plus sign that you have, and then you're going to select your default emulator. So you've already done all the defaults in the global, so I'm just going to push the magnifying glass, and I'm going to double click the one that shows up, and yeah, that's it there. And if you wanted to add an extra emulator, you can certainly do that by just pushing the plus sign here, and this would show up. And you would select, this is a very custom emulator, it's not in the global, so you're saying just for AAE, you would select the name of the emulator that you want, you'd find the path, put the extension in, and then the module, and that's it. Then you'd close that, you'd just exit, and it would save. And nothing in the module tab. This is going to be just one of those things where you might check the notes. So I'm clicking AAE, and yeah, it'll tell you some notes on the auto hotkey that might help you set up the emulator. Next, we got the games. So if you go to System Audit, you see all those. You push the plus or the play sign, and you see everything that you've got, and you can launch the game for testing with the rocket icon. Pause, I never touch. Keymapper, I never touch. Yeah, that's golden. So whenever you're setting up a new emulator, just change some of the minor general settings. You're going to just touch the main settings tab and the fade general tab as needed for, your launching, and then you're making sure the setup for your emulator is default and your game path. So you'll get a swing of things pretty quickly, and it's gonna make a lot of sense to you after you've done a couple of these. But That is the workflow of Rocket Launcher. That was a mouthful, guys. I hope this helped you guys, and hope to see you guys soon on the next tutorial. I'm thinking it's going to be Hyper HQ. I'm trying to go back to the basis, so you can actually start your your setup if you haven't already. So we'll see you tomorrow.